Okay, yeah. So we're back. We just took a little break. But yeah, I wanted to kind of let Dom speak about the whole flat Earth thing because those of you guys who are starting to connect with us, Dom's very public about the flat Earth thing, as you are with everything that you believe. And I just wanted to kind of speak to it and let you guys know where I'm at because I'm starting to investigate it, but I don't know that much, and I have some questions, but I still don't know. So, and I don't want to
Yeah.
say that I believe any which way, but we'll see. We'll see.
And that's one thing I wanted to touch on too. So, flat earthers, we don't believe 100% that we know everything. Obviously, like we're all learning stuff.
Yeah.
We've all been lied to. We've all been indoctrinated the same. So myself personally, anyways, I don't believe it to be perfectly flat. Like I don't know. All we know for certain is that the heliocentric Big Bang lie of nothingness that happened and evolution of we're carnivorous space monkeys just jerking off on this planet for no rhyme or reason. It's bullshit. And there's no proof of curvature. There's no there's just no proof of any of it. And when you look into it and just try to debunk it, it all starts to fall apart. And so all we're saying is we know that's a lie. And the big question is, why are they lying? And when you look into it, it's really the one lie that rules them all. Like, think about it.
Yeah,
So
it changes everything.
right. What do they tell you in school growing up? Like, oh, we've discovered all the land. We know, so there's no point in becoming an explorer, Jimmy, because everything's already been discovered. So there's nothing new. And this is how it is. And, you have to be a rocket scientist to know anything. And we got all the smartest people. So you got to look up to us for all the answers. We've already figured all this stuff out. So we just blindly trust in authority and think like they know it all. And why? And, we're just good people. People are naturally good-hearted and just trusting of people. We're kind of like sheep, right? We just go with the herd, and we want to be accepted, and we want to think that, they wouldn't do this to us. Why would they lie to us? It's horrible, but they are. They're just evil, messed up people, and they're just completely lying about everything. And so some of the other lies that they tell us here, so they say Earth, this imaginary spinning ball Earth, right, is tilted at a 66.6 degree angle. There's that 666 again. What else we got? Okay, the Earth is moving at 66,600 miles per hour. Really? Okay. What do they say the radius of the Earth is? 6 times 660. Oh, okay. What's the curvature formula? Oh, yeah, there's 66.6 in the curvature. Oh, what's the gravitational force number? 66.6.
Wow.
No, 6.66. Like, really, dude? Oh, the answer to everything is a 666. Like, gravity's still a theory.
One of the things that I love about you is, and I'll tell this story, when me and Tom first started talking, I was obviously very, very attracted to him, but I don't know if I remembered right away that you were a flat earther. It was only when, we started talking and then you mentioned, and I was just like, oh shit, he's a flat earther. And I was just like, what like, what am I going to do with that? And I'm just like, I don't know. And he definitely gave me pause about getting involved, but I asked him, I said, is it, if you're interested in a girl, or if you're dating a girl, is it a deal breaker if she doesn't agree with you that the Earth is flat? And you said, what did you say? Do you remember?
I don't remember exactly what I said at the time, but what I would say now is probably the same I would say then, is that obviously, no, it's not a deal breaker. I didn't know it was flat, and you can't hide the truth, right? The sun, the moon, and the truth.
Oh, so I remember what you said. You said no, it's not a deal breaker. You said just don't make fun of me for it. And so I was just like, okay, I won't. And I knew I would have to investigate it as well for myself. But you also said that you would be open to being proven wrong.
Absolutely, still to this day.
Yeah.
Me and several friends put on the table a long time ago. We got a group of people together, put a bunch of money together. We're like, dude, we would offer you collectively like $250,000 to debunk what we're talking about here. Debunk. There's also a really great documentary called 201. 200. What is it?
Is that offer still open, by the way?
I believe so.
Is it? You're not going to put our money into that. Are you
I wasn't
registered?
really putting up the money, but like I was promoting it with my friends.
I'm not convinced yet. So.
Yeah, they were offering like half cash and half cryptocurrency, whatever. But
yeah, if they're sure, if the guys who are sure that for that offer is that if that offer is still on the table, just don't put our money in. Not until I'm sure, anyway.
I'll still send you to the two people who said that.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, and look, whether you believe in this or not, like, yeah, one thing is people don't even know what they believe in, because like once you when you ask someone who like yourself, right, you still were on the fence of like you still believed in the heliocentric Big Bang model of evolution and the spinning globe, right? And then so it's like when I ask you questions about what do you think it is that you believe in, like a lot of people don't even know. Like, did you know what the Earth's curvature formula was?
Yeah. No, I don't. I haven't really looked. I'll be honest. I've not.
You know all these
I
formulas?
just trusted the scientists. It just made sense because I was like, yeah, the sun is round, the moon is round. It makes sense that our Earth would be a sphere.
Yeah, and then when you zoom in on the stars, right? They're just like these twinkling, pulsating,
plasma,
like fluid lights. They're not balls.
Yeah.
Like NASA gives us all CGI composite bullshit cartoon
but
images.
I want to go really in depth into this subject, but we can maybe do it in a different podcast because this. Yeah. Let's not get too sidetracked.
Yeah. Let's just finish this up and tie it back into what we're talking about here. Yeah. So, like I'm saying, whether or not we believe in it, these Satanists believe in the flat Earth.
Do they?
Look at the UN logo.
Right.
It's the flat Earth map. And so that map is divided into 33 quadrants because who runs the world? Freemasonry, 33rd degree Freemason, Luciferian Satanists.
Interesting. That's super interesting.
And what is the one thing that all the United Nations agree upon? Of all our differences on how we can't get along over anything, they agree on a couple things. The first thing is they all signed the Antarctic Treaty, which says you and I, the average Joe, cannot go to the Antarctic willy-nilly on our own. We can't go exploring. It's a heavily defended military airspace. You will get shot down by land or sea if you try to go there on your own. You're allowed to go on a little tour to a certain part of Antarctica, like a little guided tour. Like, you see, look, there's penguins and lots of ice. It's just, that's all it is. Nothing to see here. Don't go beyond that. When they openly admitted back in, when was it? Like the 60s or something, Admiral Byrd, which I don't know if we can trust this either, but he allegedly did the first exploration. He took an Antarctic exploration, took Navy ships and aircrafts and went and explored there. And he said beyond a long bit of ice, the Antarctica, you found more land, more resources.
But wasn't that inner Earth? Wasn't that supposed to be some inner Earth societies?
No, that's what they're spinning it into now to make us look
interesting.
Which, I don't know. I'm not claiming to know one way or another. I think that's just a psyop just to discredit the flat Earth. Like, just like the people who tell you that when they present you to the flat Earth, they spin it as a stupid idea. Like, oh, it's just a thing that you could fall off. The water just runs off into nothing, and you're just stupid. How can you circumnavigate when you just go off the edge? Circumnavigate means circle around the center North Pole. So your compass will always point north, even if you're going east or west, and every other direction is south, away from that center magnetic pole. That's how the compass works. And so when you go south, away from the North Pole in any direction, you hit this ice wall, which is depicted like so. Let's say this is the flat Earth map, which is basically the UN logo. So that's the nice, shiny little white Antarctic circle. They call it the Antarctic Circle because it's the anterior circle encompassing this little body of water that they all have us enslaved here. And they all agree on one thing. The United Nations says you cannot go beyond that. So we don't know what's beyond that. I don't claim to know. Many people don't. There's some theories out there, obviously. And like Admiral Byrd said on national television after he led the world's first exploration past Antarctica, said there was more land, more creatures we've never seen of, probably infinite amounts of resources. So what does this lie cover? It debunks right there the whole fossil fuel myth, the whole overpopulation myth that they got you believing that, it's not safe to have kids. We're overpopulating the world. There's not enough to go around, Jimmy. Don't have kids. You're just be an irresponsible asshole. You got to be an anti-natalist now and demonize other people for wanting to have children and procreate like God designed you to.
Yeah.
Can't do that. So now we got to fight over land and resources, Jimmy. The oil prices, oil is infinite. This beautiful world, the way it was intended and designed by God, is infinitely regenerative. God doesn't create lack and scarcity. Man does.
Yeah.
With their lies and greed and control. And so, anyways, they believe in this flat Earth stuff, whether we do or not. They operate by it. They know it. It's a formula. It's a proven sound science that they follow. All their planes and spaceships and stuff, and they all prove in their design. They say they fly over a flat, stationary, motionless plane. That's how all their instrumentation of navigation is designed and operates. It never fluctuates. There's no curvature. They don't compensate for it, and that's how they know how to travel and stuff and do all this stuff. And that's why they literally call it an airplane, because it flies over a flat, motionless plane.
Interesting. So I was very skeptical of this when Tom was like, no, you got to just ask the pilots. Like I always ask pilots, and he showed me some video of loads of pilots talking about how the Earth is flat, and I was just like, come on. And so when we flew to DC a few months ago for some family reunion, and when we were flying back, the pilot was coming up behind us. He goes, do you want to ask the pilot what the shape of the Earth is? And I wouldn't have done it by myself. I'd be a bit shy to do it, but you're obviously a bit more experienced. So I was just like, yeah, I do want to know what he's going to say. And what did he say?
Yeah, I asked him. I was like, so when you're flying up there, do you see any curvature? And he had no hesitation, no stutter. He was like, nope, it's flat. It's all flat. And then, like, after he heard you giggling and laughing about it, he's like,
I was shocked. I was literally like, oh, really? And then
he said he was joking, but I don't know if it's just to cover his ass, because, like, they're sworn. A lot of these people are sworn to secrecy. They're not allowed to tell you, you know. In Freemasonry, when you join these high-level Freemasonry cults and stuff, like Skull and Bones and shit, you're sworn in by a blood pact, like a death. You take a death.
But do you think all pilots are? I don't think all pilots are Freemasons. I know.
That's why a lot of them will tell you straight out. They'll show you in there. They'll show you their instruments in the cockpit. Like, no, this little, what you call it? I forget their terminology for it, but literally always shows you're flying flat, stationary. That's how you operate this goddamn aircraft.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen, the thing is, I've never got triggered by flat Earth. Like, for me, it was just like, whatever. Like, if people want to believe, I thought it was silly. And I did think when somebody would start getting into flat Earth, I'd kind of just think, oh God.
Right.
Do you, I never, like, there were people that I respected who started looking into it. So I was just like, all right, do your thing, research it, whatever. I didn't make fun of people. Maybe sometimes I would. But it never used to trigger me. But obviously, since I've been dating you, I've seen how badly it triggers people. And obviously, and my mum is very upset about she loves you, but every time the shape of the Earth gets mentioned or conspiracy, she gets very upset that I'm marrying a flat earther.
It's ripping off a very uncomfortable bandage. Like, it's, in some cases, it's people's identity. They have NASA merchandise, they're fanboys and girls, and some people like
weird identity they have.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just super uncomfortable to know, like, damn, there's that large of a lie that I've been deceived into falling for. Like, I can't be this stupid or gullible or whatever, right? Like, you feel really dumb, and it's scary too. Like, what is it? It makes you question everything. Literally, you're just like, what is this place? What are we doing here? Like.
But why does it make them so upset or angry? Like, I just don't. Maybe because I'm already a conspiracy theorist and I'm used to there being psyops, that it didn't bother me that people were getting into that psyop, or people who believe dinosaurs aren't real. I don't know. Like, it doesn't bother me. Tartarian mud floods, whatever people are into, I'm just like, cool. Like, I haven't looked into that. It seems a bit silly. But I think for people who when we start talking about like Satanists and things like that and pedophiles, and then when we talk about flat earth, they start coming along. I think my mum has started to come along and recognize that I've been right about a lot of things, and then as soon as flat earth comes into it, then it kind of breaks her mind open. She's like, oh, maybe it's all bullshit. And so it kind of creates a little bit of cognitive dissonance, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, they take pride in the fact that they think they know things and they're
Yeah.
smart and knowledgeable and they're able to regurgitate everything that they were taught in school like a parrot, right? And so it's uncomfortable, like, damn, everything I know practically is a lie.
Yeah.
Like, you just look at their own blue marble photos. Like, how big is North America?
I definitely feel like this is actually since you and I got together and I started opening my mind enough to, I mean, it's obviously very different. It's a different size.
It's just
Since I started looking into it and opening my mind enough to accept the possibility that it could maybe be flat or that we might have been lied to about the shape of the Earth, it definitely has made me feel like I don't know anything anymore. It's made me unsure of everything, and it's made me question a lot of the things that I've researched. Like all the ET stuff, I'm now like questioning all of it. And the people that put a lot of that stuff out as well, I'm wondering, is it like all one big psyop, or maybe there is truth to it, but we're not being given the full truth, or there's lies mixed in with it. It's definitely it's definitely it's part of the reason why I also pulled back, because I just needed a bit of time to get some more clarity on things. But I mean, we're all going through it, guys, even those of us who've been awake, for the people who are just waking up now and people who've been awake for many years. It's like it never ends. There's always new stuff that you're learning, and that make you question everything that you knew before. And people, they'll study Kabbalah for years and think that it's the truth, and then they find out that it's satanic, and many of the teachings that we've learned, many of the occult systems, a lot of people will go through a moment where they realize that the system that they're learning is distorted. So I think it happens with everything.
Yeah. And so when you believe this nonsense of like a heliocentric Big Bang of nothing, godless universe, no rhyme or reason, evolution theory, then they can also push a lot of other lies on you too. Like, oh, there's invisible germs and boogeyman out there, viruses, watch out, get our jabs, you're going to need the jabs. It's the only way to stay safe. You're going to die. You're all going to die if you don't get the jab. Oh, really? Like, we're thriving, right? And when did they also publish the first NASA broadcast of images from space? April Fool's Day, 1960.
Really?
Yep. And what else happened back then too? Like, so tied into April Fool's Day, it's all the false. The whole story behind April Fool's Day was when the Pope Gregory changed the calendar to the modern day Pope Gregorian calendar that we all follow. And changed everything. They started calling you an April Fools if you believe that the New Year started in winter instead of spring.
Yeah. That's why now I'm starting to celebrate. Like, I can feel the New Year energy coming in now.
Rather than something too with Hitler and April Fool's Day. What was it?
Should I explain the shofar while you're doing that?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so the thing about the shofar, I noticed that they were blowing the shofar quite a lot around Purim and this assault on Iran. So I was just like, let me look up this symbolism of the shofar, because during the pandemic around 2020, 2021, I actually had a very crazy, intense dream that featured shofars. And I didn't know what it meant at the time, but now it's honestly, I'm getting chills even thinking about it. I had a dream that I was basically witnessing a bunch of hooded figures in these robes and hoods, like something out of like fucking Eyes Wide Shut, or like some weird dark magicians Freemasonry bullshit. Okay, you've seen all the images of them doing their fucking sacrifice rituals with the hoods on. So it was like that, and they were in some underground place. And it felt like it was somewhere underground in London, okay? I definitely felt like I was it felt like an astral dream. I felt like I was astral traveling and saw, I think I was actually remote viewing or astral traveling and actually seeing what they were doing. But they were basically, there was a bunch of hooded figures and they were in some underground place, in some underground cavern. And they had these robes and hoods on, and they had these shofars, and they were blowing the shofars, and then they put them in like a X configuration. And I was just like, what does that mean? That's really creepy. And I do write down my dreams. And then the next day I went to one of the marches that we were having. London, if you guys were following me around that time, we were having like these amazing very, very highly attended marches in London. I think at by the end of the summer there were about 2 million people strong, just marching through London to protest against the mandates, the lockdowns, the masking, just generally in the assault on our human rights. And a lot of people were very awake. They knew exactly the agenda. They knew how it was relating to Agenda 2030 and, the Georgia Guidestones and this depopulation agenda. And as I'm walking down the street and I'm turning the corner in Oxford Street, there's a guy walking down the street and he's carrying a shofar. And I didn't know what it was called at that time. He's just carrying it's basically like a ram's horn. And I'm just like, whoa, what is that? And he's like, oh, it's a shofar. And I was just like, I saw that in my dream last night. And he's just like, oh, I was just like, what is it? And he's like, it's a horn. And he blew on it. And it's like, yeah, they were blowing it in the dream. And he's like, would you like to blow it? And I was just like, yeah, sure. So I blew on it and I was like, what does it mean? He goes, it means Jesus is coming. So I kind of very quickly before we did this transmission, I looked up this symbolism because it's quite important to the Jewish people, the shofar, and it basically represents the it has quite a lot of symbolism, but it's a herald of it basically has to do with the creation of Israel and the return to Zion. And the children of Israel basically returning to Zion to signal the end times and the coming of the Moshiach and the return of Yeshua, because obviously they're merging Judeo-Christianity together into one kind of messianic religion right now. So essentially it has to do with the symbolism started around the time where Abraham received the call from God, but not God, it was Yahweh, who I don't believe is God. I believe is a fallen Elohim, gave the instruction to Abraham that he is to sacrifice his son. So he goes to sacrifice his son and puts a mask on and, blindfolds him. And then suddenly he gets a call from the angel Gabriel going, hey, you don't need to do that, but it was a test. Will you pass the test? We know that you're a devoted servant of the Lord, that you were willing to sacrifice your son. Right. And here instead there's a ram or a sheep or something that had the horns, and you can sacrifice that instead. So they cut the horn off and then they drill a hole in, and then basically the breath, when you put the breath, it's supposed to be like the breath of God, and it's supposed to be preserving the bloodlines of Abraham, Isaac, and then the Israelites, and the creation of the state of Israel and the coming of the Messiah. So it's very symbolic to them. But in this dream that I saw, basically like a remote vision that I saw, basically these dark occultists who follow Kabbalah, which is obviously very, very esoteric mysticism, black magic. Obviously, I'm not saying that all Jews follow Kabbalah or are black magicians, but is a sect that within Christianity, within the Abrahamic faiths in general, which is, Freemasonry, Illuminati, Sabbatean Frankism, that all kind of follow these Abrahamic faiths. They are essentially black magicians. So they were using this ritualistically to do some kind of ritual around 2020 or 2021. So I believe that this is definitely all the psyops, not just 2020, but even going all the way back, 9/11 and probably even further than that, before me and Dom were even alive, are part of their messianic agenda. So yeah, do you want to go back to what you were? Did you find what you were?
Yeah, I found it. So because a lot of the emerging truth community and these people who I believe I pretty much know are controlled opposition, like Stu Peters, Candace Owens, and all, they're pushing basically. Well, I know Stu Peters for sure, and that other guy, Jake GTV, who it's interesting. Like, how are these people both one red flag that they're obvious controlled opposition, they can pretty much say whatever they want. They do not get taken off social media. Dude, I posted a quote by a former president. It was just a meme. It said a quote from the former president. It says something along the lines of like, "He who is afraid to offend cannot speak the truth."
Yeah.
And I got a 30-day ban for that. And then eventually, and my whole Facebook account got deleted at one point shortly after talking about the scandemic. But these people can say literally anything they want. Is AI generated videos?
Yeah.
Like,
you lost your Instagram as well, didn't you?
What's that?
You lost your Instagram as well, didn't you?
Oh yeah, my main Instagram account, I never got back. They just deleted it for no rhyme and reason, and that happened to the T exactly when I started. The scandemic was kicking off, and I started calling out all the plant-based doctors in the community who are pushing the vaccine. I'm like, because these are people I looked up to and respected. And then I was like, there's the dead giveaway that they're controlled opposition pushing the fucking COVID jab, like it was the answer to everything. And I'm like, wow, you motherfucker. So I started calling them out in the comments. I started calling out all the vegan bodybuilders and influencers who were also pushing the jab. And I'm like, screw all of you, dude. And instantly my account got deleted. No warning, nothing. Like the very next day.
Yeah.
And my main Facebook account, similar thing happened. I lost it for almost a year. And then somehow randomly I just logged in one day and I got it back. Again, no warning, nothing. And during the scamdemic, I was just getting 30-day, 60-day, 90-day, back-to-back temporary bans for anything to do exposing the scamdemic.
Yeah.
They literally back-to-back just kept me in almost a full year of Facebook jail, I think, between all the bans, like right after one of another. And now my account's so censored, like almost no one sees a post, like no engagement. I used to get like 700, almost 1,000 like story views. Now I get like 5, 6. Sometimes 15 stories will go by for 24 hours, 48 hours, not a single view. I'm like, okay, yeah, right.
Yeah.
But anyway, so one thing that Stu Peters and these people are pushing now is they're saying that Hitler was right. Hitler was the good guy. We fought on the wrong side of the war.
Yeah, I stopped listening to Stu Peters a long time ago.
So Stu Peters, they're pushing this whole white supremacy, basically, just racist and division.
Really?
Oh yeah, dude.
I haven't. What is he saying?
Okay, so he teamed up with Hibbler Productions, and they made a really cool documentary that like these people do disclose a lot of truth, but that's how they gain your
trust,
their followers and your trust, because they're and it ties into the revelation of the method again. So this is what they do. These people in the predatory class that are in power, that prey upon people, sacrifice children to eat them and drink their blood and stuff, they love mocking you, and they love showing their intelligence superiority over you and their dominance, because it's like a litmus test. Like, what will you put up with? What will you accept? And if you do accept it, you're basically consenting. If you don't do anything about it, if you just watch a movie like The Avengers showing you in the background that COVID-19 coronavirus is coming and stuff, and you just say, oh, that's just conspiracy, it's coincidence. They literally tell you and mock you right there. Like Event 201, the pandemic simulation put on by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, World Economic Forum. They literally told you how it was a simulation, a government simulation, where all the United Nations got on board with it. And we're like, how are we going to lock down the world?
Event 201.
Yeah.
That was the number. When you mentioned the 201 number, I was just like, wasn't there something with the 201?
Yeah, I'm going to go over that again here because I got a lot more to add to that too. So 201 is just massive to them. And it's just a Gematria disclosure, ritual, mockery, and putting intention into it from all the United Nations, how they're going to do it. Then they help manifest it because they scare everybody. They use it's like loosh harvesting, the energy harvesting. Like, oh, everyone's so scared and panicked. Now they're focusing on the TV. They're trusting the TV. They're trusting the news. Look at your friends and family. They all turn on you for just saying, hey, I don't believe in this. I'm not going to get the virus. I'm not going to go to work if they're going to make me get a vaccine, whatever. Yeah. And I'm not going to wear masks and stuff. I'm like, oh, now you're the terrible person. You're endangering their health. They just literally turned everybody against each other and made them attack us. And that's what they do. Order out of chaos, divide and conquer. That's how these people work. That's why they use the Masonic checkerboard floor. They're playing checkers with you and just moving their pawns around, playing chess and manipulating you and controlling you. And Event 201, literally talked about a hypothetical scenario of what would we do? What would the world do if a coronavirus specifically, not any other virus, a coronavirus specifically broke out? What would we do? How would we lock down the world? What would the news simulate? What would they say? What would they do? How would we systematically lock people down, keep them at home? How would we enforce the laws to get them to comply? How are we going to punish them? They talked about all this. And they did it to the T. And everybody complied. And even the movie V for Vendetta, right? About a coronavirus outbreak happened in the year of 2020.
Yeah, 2020. With
Literally
a tyrannical government. Yeah, they literally tell you. It's like,
told you.
Yeah. So what's
still complied.
What kind of racist shit is Stu Peters pushing right now? Is it like great replacement theory?
They're pushing white supremacy, and if you watch Jake GTV's videos, he is always like mocking every race in there practically. That's not why, like, oh, back to you, Ching Chong and stuff. These little racial jabs at like everybody, and they shit on veganism. They just try to divide everybody against vegans who are just having compassion for animals, and they're trying to steer people away from that because they're saying it's an NWO depopulation diet. Oh, really? Like, didn't the Bible say, like, everyone, I give unto you every fruit-bearing nut seed for sustenance and meat, and that shall be your nourishment, and you're to, like, have dominion over animals, take care of them. Dominion doesn't mean dominate, rape, exploit, torture, enslave, slaughter, and eat them. Weapon and thou shalt not kill, right? But anyways, that's what they push. That's what they're about. Just division in every regard, turning everybody against everybody. They're throwing the poor gay and lesbian community in there with the whole trans agenda stuff, and it's just all division. And everyone's like, well, they're saying a lot of truth, so they kind of just brush that off. It's like, oh, it's just satire, it's just comedy, it's just a little bit of racism.
Well, they create all these psyops deliberately to divide the left and right. Like the way that conspiracy theorists, we were always left leaning because there was a conspiracy of evil fucking people who were super powerful and wealthy and manipulating the rest of us. Not that there weren't people who didn't have money and power that were feeding children to them, because there were. There's obviously evil people who are of limited means as well. But essentially, being a conspiracy theorist was a leftist position. And then during COVID, they obviously weaponized a lot of the wokeness into collectivism, and everybody needs to go along with this fucking Nazi collectivist agenda, communist, basically. Everybody needs to get the poke to protect everybody and to save lives. And I reckon they put a lot of leftist shills in there to push, probably like what you were saying with the vegan, the vegan doctors and the plant-based doctors and the bodybuilders, because they had captured a lot of people on the left who were awake and then started pushing. And they probably did it with other communities as well, probably anti-racist communities, feminist communities. And so people that were genuinely awake, we all started going anti-woke then. So then, it became cool to be anti-woke, or that it was a more awake position to be anti. But now people have gone into fucking full-scale fascism, while the Trump administration is literally like interning indigenous people and continuing to genocide them. To genocide in Palestine. Like, it's just, I mean, a lot of people who don't know how to identify who these shills are.
We're going to talk about that too, how we can really easily start to point these people out and empower people.
Yeah, we'll do it in a separate video, because this one's getting really long. So let's just let's bring it back to Iran and the blood moon and Purim. Wrap up what we want to say, and we've got so much stuff that obviously we can talk about in different episodes, and we'll try and keep them a little bit shorter and do more of them, guys, because we know we do sometimes lose people's attention after the really long transmissions. But obviously we could talk about this stuff for hours.
So they're pushing this Naziist idealism, basically, like, oh, that he was the good guy, we need to do that again, like, and all this shit, and it's horrible. I'm like, and you have to think, how did someone like that rise to power and influence so many people to be a Nazi, basically, and think that it was a good thing at the time, right? Everybody went with it, right? They turned in their neighbors, they fucking shut down their businesses and fucking killed so many people, right? And not just Jews, right? But how many Russians and Christians and all the other groups of people that got thrown into that
Witnesses, intellectuals.
And so this is how they're doing it. They just lie subtly here and there and just build you up, and they're turning the whole world against Israel and stuff. And none of them are talking about the true enemy, the Vatican, the Jesuits, the Freemasons.
Yeah.
And that's one dead giveaway that these are just controlled opposition. They never touch on who the head of the snakes are. They never talk about Pepe Orsini, the gray pope, the black pope. And why are the popes wearing the little tiny Jewish hats?
Yeah, interesting that you mentioned Orsini. Yeah, that's a name that you guys should remember. Yeah.
It's because it's literally who you all sold your souls to and are working for right now, whether you know it or not.
Yeah.
It's just evil people. The most evil you can't even comprehend it. Oh, another thing I wanted to touch on too is the calendar. So, and the 201 stuff. Oh man. Let's see. Let's real quick go over some other words that equal 201 and why 201 is so important to the Jesuits, the Society of Jesus, and their logo too. By the way, for those of you who don't know, is literally spells shit. Well, it's IHS, which stands for Isus Hominum Salvatore, and but when you turn the IHS with a little T cross through it the other way, you'll see what I'm talking about. Maybe I could show it here real quick, or we could put it on the screen. Hold on, let me pull it up. Because what is the Vatican and the Catholic Church known for? Sodomy. So what is that?
So turn it upside down?
Let me lock this. Shit. And it's an inverted cross. Because what does Satanists do? They invert everything. Yeah. They take everything good. I think there was some maybe organic beautifulness, divine order to this whole gematria thing, but they use it for evil deeds. And, we can use it for good. We can use it to expose them. So that's one good thing about it. And it literally just exposes everything. Everyone really needs to look into this knowledge. One of the best teachers out there is, little plug, I want to throw him out and give him a shout out because I learned so much from him. And he's one of the most dedicated activists doing this for over a decade now straight, every single day, making YouTube videos. He's on his 25th YouTube channel or something because they keep deleting him. He's had millions of views, but his channel is called Gematria Effect News. Gematria Effect EFFECT News.
This is Zachary Hubbard.
What's that?
Zachary Hubbard. Yeah.
Zachary K. Hubbard.
Yeah.
Really awesome guy. So 201, like I said, all these words: Jewish mysticism, Jesuit order, Holy Bible, State of Israel, Order of Illuminati, World Trade Towers, Neil Alden Armstrong, which his name also, if you take the Neil A. Armstrong, Neil A. backwards is alien. He's the first guy to go to the moon. Such a joke. Whoa. Anyway, pedophilia equals 201. Adolphus Hitler, 201. Heliocentrism, 201. QAnon. Yep. Heliocentric theory, 201. William Henry Gates, Bill Gates, right? His full name, 201. It's crazy. Down to George Perry Floyd, even that little psyop there. His full name, George Perry Floyd equals 201. Killed after a cop altercation over a $20 bill. One $20 bill, so 201. Anyway. Event 201, like we said, with the pandemic simulation. And the 201 is also really big for them because the Jesuits were saved. Oh, yeah, that's right. In history, the Jesuits were saved by Catherine the Great, who supposedly preserved the order with 201 Jesuits. So, yeah, 201's a big number for them anyways. You see that stuff. Back to our topic, though, Iran and stuff in the calendar. I wanted to talk about the Jewish calendar and Ramadan and how that syncs up with this. So, yeah, Benjamin Netanyahu, it's not his real name, but that's what they changed it to, so it would sync up with all these rituals and their prophecy. And so it equals 282. And it's like most of the world writes their calendar days as a day, then the month, instead of the month and the day. Mm-hmm. The 28th of February, 282, just like his name, 282. And this also happened 228 days from the Trump admin taking office to the renaming the Department of War was 228 days. United States of America equals 228. Death is 228 in Sumerian Gematria cipher, where you multiply the alphabetic order times 6.
Sumerian?
Mm-hmm.
Or Sumerian, so like Samaritan?
No, Sumerian.
Okay.
there's a really cool calculator you can go on and you can look at all these ciphers, but there's 4 main ones that are on there by default, but you click on, it's called gematrinator.com, and if you click on the little cipher button, you can search Sumerian Gematria too. They use some of these other bigger ones, and it's a whole vast, expansive occult knowledge.
Yeah, honestly, every time I start going into something like this, I'm like, oh my God, there's so much stuff to study.
It's really cool. It's literally like in the Matrix when Cypher's like looking at the code of the Matrix on the screen, and that's all he sees, but you have to like understand and interpret that.
Yeah.
It's what you start to learn. It's it's cool, but it's a lot of information. Anyway, so on February 28th to 28th, that's the first ever jointed attack between U.S. and Israel, because Jesuits run both of them. Like I said, Jesuit order equals 201, the State of Israel equals 201.
Yeah, say that again, because I think that's really important, because loads of people have been talking about how Israel rules the world, the Zionists control everything, and we've all been occupied by Israel. So repeat what you just said.
Right. So the Society of Jesus, aka the Jesuits, they're the Roman, the new military order for the Knights, the Catholic Church. Used to be the Knights Templar. Yeah. Now they got changed to like the Jesuits.
Yeah, that corresponds.
But all these secret societies, they all work for these people: Skull and Bones, the Brotherhoods, Freemasons, Zionists, and they're using Zionism as like the scapegoat, like, oh, they're the ones, so no one actually goes after the real head. They want you to know, like they're bragging that the Zionists are a part of them because they love rubbing it in your face, but they're not the head of everything behind the strings. And all the presidents in history, every single American president has been a Freemason since George Washington, the very first one. And what do we know about America? It was founded on genocide. Nothing has changed, just business as usual. This is what they do. They wipe out civilizations and rewrite the fucking history because the victors write history, right?
Yeah. So it's not that Israel is controlling all these other countries. It's that Israel is also controlled by these secret societies as well as all these other countries. And this is just part of the script.
Because it's so stupid. Israel has blackmail on all these politicians. It's just this little country doing everything. No, it's all of them blaming that little occupied illegal settler occupation.
Yeah,
it's bigger. It's much bigger and scarier than people realize.
Yeah.
So Benjamin Netanyahu's name in different ciphers, Gematria ciphers, has 177 Gematria and 69. Just like Jesuit order is 177 and 69, New World Order is 177 and 69, and also 75 on New World Order, because General Wesley Clark, like I said on Democracy Now! Back in 2007, when he said we're going to war to take out 7 countries in 5 years, 7-5, finishing off with Iran. Yeah, so it's just wrapping it up. Just remember, the Jesuits are associated with the calendar that we all operate on and the English language we all speak. That's how they orchestrate all this. So it's not coincidence that all these words like Purim, Israel, Judaism, Zionist, United States, September 11th, all equal 77 and so forth. And I also just wanted to touch on... the Jewish calendar, where was that? So, the attack happened on the 11th day of Adar on the Jewish calendar, and Adar is the 6th month of the civil year and the 12th month of the religious year. So the 11th day of the 6th month is 611, which is like 911 reversed.
Right. What do you mean by reversed?
So, like, if you flip 9/11 upside down,
oh, right.
6.
That's a thing in Gematria? Yeah, whoa. Because like an inversion.
It's Satanism, right? Yeah, right. It's classic Satanism, inverting everything, flipping the cross upside down. The pentagram is a star upside down. Everything that they do is against God, like the opposite of what God would have wanted. If
moral relativism,
God to them. And like I said, first it was Pearl Harbor, then they had September 11th, and this whole war in Afghanistan and everything, and it's all like synced up in 19-year cycles and stuff. And So the 11th day of Ramadan is in Israeli time zone when the attack in Iran happened, and Ramadan is the 9th month in the Islamic calendar. So they have 9/11.
Right. So it's
This
their
operation-
9/11.
Yeah. hmm
Wow.
Yeah. And you have, what are they calling this operation? Operation Epic Fury. That equals 119, 9/11. Again, backwards. Operation to attack Iran. The Vatican is 119 in Gematria. Star of David is 119 in Gematria. Israel had a different name for the attack in Iran. I don't remember what it was called, but it also equals 119, allegedly, from what I've heard. And this is 170 days from 9/11's 24th anniversary. We attacked Iran. World War III equals 170. Iran equals 24.
Say that again?
So 170 days from 9/11's 24th anniversary, we now attacked Iran. World War III equals 170, and Iran is 24.
Right. Okay. So they're just putting all the different synchronicities in there.
Yep. And 24 days from February 28th will be March 24th, which is 201 days from the renaming of the Department of War. So expect something to happen on March 24th. It's a big ritual day for them. And that will be the 83rd day of the year. And they renamed it Department of War 83 days from Trump's birthday. So there's going to be a ritual synced up, something to do with Trump again. And March 24th is written 24/3. Just like Operation Epic Fury, this attack on Iran is 243. Just like Central Intelligence Agency is 243. You see how they code this shit? So it's just like, we did that. Yep, that was us. So they know this code. So the average people is like, that's just a coincidence. There's no way. You're just coincidence theorists. And I wanted to touch on this earlier when we were saying, like, we're talking about conspiracy theorists. That term, remember, kids, was invented to discredit people who are noticing patterns.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, I found it interesting. Well, I guess not interesting knowing this stuff. Tehran, the capital of Iran, is 33. 33 Freemasonries. They all run the show. It's a huge orchestrated shit show. And it became the capital of Iran. I noticed this. I think I was the first. I don't know. I haven't heard this from anybody else. But the capital of Iran, it's been there since, Tehran's been the capital since 1786. And now we're going to 86 them, right? The restaurant term for we're out of, take them out, kill them.
What was the capital before?
I don't remember. I got to look that up.
I'd be curious to know if did they name it, or was it always called that?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I mean, guys, if you're like a historian and you're that this is your area, please chime in and let us know, because I would be really curious to know.
Yeah, could look it up real quick, but it's already going on so long.
Yeah.
And with the 77s that we were talking about earlier, like Purim, Israel, Judaism, Zionist, Israel, September, United States, September 11th, all this stuff equals 77. I also noticed Tehran is Iran's largest city and one of the most populous cities of the world, and it's 707 square kilometers. 77. Interesting. So that also syncs up with the 77 ritual. But
yeah,
it's just gross.
There's something going on with the history of Iran that I think there's something there, because obviously we know that was, Hitler talking about the Aryans. Obviously we know that they originally come from Iran, and then I feel like there's, because I had that. Do you remember that dream that I had about that guy who was in the relationship with this chick, and then they realized that they weren't soulmates, and he was like, yeah, of course I'm not, I'm a Jewish soul, I'm a Persian soul. And then and in the dream, a Jewish soul, like that, the word Jew actually represents truth. So originally it was like to be a truth seeker, and I think somehow it got co-opted.
Yeah, It's infiltrated, if not orchestrated, all these religions.
Yeah. So I think originally the frequency was probably pure, and then they with like with everything they just distort and invert and everything.
Yeah, because the actual Jews are against Zionism, so that's obvious.
Yeah.
They're not the same thing. Jews have nothing to do with Israel and all this stuff. So.
Yeah, but there's still lots of other things in the religion that are very problematic.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Like all religions seem to have these crazy distortions. But yeah, then I found out a few days later, listening to Professor Zhang, that it was actually the ancient Persians that created the whole Jewish identity. And there is, a very large and protected group of Jews in Iran. So I think there's something there. There's something there. But I don't know. I need to go down that particular rabbit hole. Obviously, there's so much to study with all of this. I mean, it literally goes into like our history or whether it even was our history or if it's all just being sold and manufactured back to us and, the real truth being obfuscated. Who even knows? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and the news is so evil and disgusting, obviously, because it's run by the Zionists. So here's one of the first attacks they did on Iran, right? They bombed that little all-girls school. They killed like 170 little girls or something like that. And then when the news covers it, they're just like, oh, these are just statistics. They just brushed over it really quick. They're like, 148, or at the time it was 148 schoolgirls were killed in this. And they just talked about like it was a quick statistic, just casualties of war, and then they went over to a story about Israel getting attacked by Iran in retaliation, and 9 people died. Oh my! And they focused on it all day long.
Yeah.
Just like kept starting on like this is so tragic. It's such a tragedy. We lost 9 people in Israel.
And each person has their own name, their own history. They have a picture attached to them. It's obviously anybody who's like Western European or Israeli, they're obviously going to massively humanize, but just brown and black people are just numbers.
Yeah. Oh, and so that was 9 Jews. Also, this is allegedly, we can't even trust anything Israel is saying, right? And so they said this happened in Bet Shemesh, I guess that's how you pronounce it, which equals 113 in Gematria. And we know that whole thing in the Talmud from Baba Kamet, whatever, Kamad, or however you say it, says that they can legally lie to Goy in the verse 113 or something in their Talmud.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, so back to the 19 thing real quick, just to reemphasize that. So we had March 7th. Yeah, okay. So March 7th, 2007 was when General Wesley went on that Democracy Now! TV show and said that they were going to invade Iran. The first day of Purim is the 19th anniversary of that date. Remember I said they operate in 19-year moon cycles. That's how they focus on the moon to schedule all these rituals. So we had COVID-19 in 2020. Then before that, 19 years, we had 19 hijackers for 9/11, right? And 19 years before that, it was the war on drugs. Then it became the war on terror, then the war on germs.
Yeah.
And they were all just wars taking away Americans' freedoms and everybody's freedoms and liberties around the world. And the Purim ritual 19 years later in 2026 now, like Haman, equals 19 in Gematria and 26 in another cipher.
Really?
Yeah. And the king of Saudi Arabia was the king for 19 years, allegedly at the time of 9/11, and his name equals 19, Fahd, F-A-H-D. And from Fahd's birthday to the 9/11 attack was 179, which is the 41st prime number. And the 9/11 attack happened 41 days after the head and the prince of Saudi Arabia's birthday. Just like Skull and Bones is 41, Al Qaeda is 41, terror is 41. Now there's more terrorist news headlines in the media if you've been paying attention, like in Texas and San Antonio, Texas specifically, because San Antonio equals 41.
Well, also, I mean, did you see the news that the head of Al Qaeda basically made an announcement calling on Muslims to back regime change in Iran? Mm-hmm. Which is obviously not surprising, because if you actually know what's what, you'll know that Al Qaeda is actually CIA controlled.
Mhm.
So, Al Qaeda is not a Muslim organization. It's
Right.
like it was
It's like,
literally just it was a database of mujahideen that
yeah.
the U.S. the British administration, when Robin Cook was foreign secretary, and the U.S. administration at the time would call upon when they wanted to fight Russia in the Cold War. And then obviously they turned it into this boogeyman in the war on terror, and it was it's controlled opposition basically.
Hmm. Just like ISIS.
Yeah,
They
right,
they
exactly.
never attacked Israel.
Yeah,
Like,
Israeli
okay.
secret intelligence services.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, they did actually find that several of them were like Benjamin Ephraim. They captured some ISIS fighter, and his name was Benjamin Ephraim, and it was actually like a Mossad agent, and a bunch of different
Yeah.
things like that. But yeah,
Also, this, what's that?
no, I was just wondering if you had more to say before we wrap up.
I remembered something else too. So the attack on Iran happened the 59th day of the year, and I don't remember if you remember that coin where they minted Trump on it and said he's like the
Cyrus.
Messiah.
Cyrus.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cyrus the Great.
And he's the one that's going to rebuild the third temple in
Yeah.
Israel after all this destruction is over.
Yeah.
So the temple coin went on sale on the 59th day of the year to raise funds for the third temple. So now we're attacking Iran on the 59th day of the year. And so this is all 167 days after the Pope's birthday, because remember, they sync all this up to like the guy who's leading all this stuff. And the third temple equals 167 in Gematria.
Yeah.
Apparently Temple Mount and Catholic and Order Out of Chaos all have the same gematria as well. And the time of the third temple coming to fruition is supposed to be a highly destructive time, just like they prophesied.
Yeah.
Or that they're going to do
they're
this.
making it happen. Yeah.
Oh, and remember the movie They Live, right? Where Rodney Piper puts on the glasses and then he can also all of a sudden see through all the headlines and who's running the show and stuff. And it all led back to this big tower where they were broadcasting their frequencies from to control humanity, and it was called Cable 54. Well, the head of the Jesuits church is in the Jesu building 54. They just put it right in your...
So what can people, now that people are informed and will continue to be informed, what can people do with this information? Like, what would you suggest to our audience? Like, how to move forward, knowing all of this?
Yeah, it's tough to say, really. I mean, like, informing yourself of how they operate, you can predict when things are going to happen to avoid certain things, like going to certain places on certain times. You can obviously see who's behind these companies and, like, the food you're eating and stuff. And you need to start, like, growing your own food. The biggest thing is just getting off of their system, getting off of their dependencies, because that's what all this does. All this overload of information and all these lies about where we live, what we're here to do, who we are, and our physiology and everything about us, our biology, they lie about everything. So it's like you need to take your power back and educate yourself, because we just went through 20-something years basically of indoctrination camps our whole life to just learn nonsense. And so we have to learn how to, they don't teach you how to grow your own food. They don't teach you how to take care of yourself and be healthy, and that like the sun can actually heal you instead of just slathering sunscreen on your body and just killing yourself with poisons and toxins. And so we need to learn basic stuff, really, and just get back to basics, like purifying your own water and securing your own independence. It's kind of like airplane safety, right? You need to secure your own oxygen mask before you can help other people. So you got to get your stuff in order before. And that's really the biggest thing you can do, is just empower yourselves and then teach others, share this knowledge like we're doing, and obviously go plant-based, because you'll have less health issues to deal with. And it's how God designed our bodies to work and operate optimally and be healthy, and then and also the cleaner your diet gets, the more these plant-based foods decalcify your pineal gland, and you can just start critically thinking. You can start seeing through the bullshit. Big things that help decalcify the pineal gland is like cacao powder, which is natural chocolate in its like purest form. Just all plant-based foods, man. Like cilantro detoxifies heavy metals from your body, and just like from all these chemtrails they're spraying on us daily. And it's like, we can't shut that down individually, but like we can start detoxing our bodies and being able to survive it until we can get enough people together to wake up and start looking up and realizing, hey, shit, they're lying to us, they're killing us. Like, we're at war every day. World War III's been well underway. It's been a silent war. It's been a silent genocide. They didn't even need gas chambers and exterminate camps when they have extermination camps, when they have vaccines. You're willingly rolling up your sleeve and just letting them fucking kill you and experiment on you. Like,
yeah, I know. I mean, guys, I know it seems really doom and gloom, but personally, I don't think that they're going to succeed because there's so many of us who are awake and aware to all this stuff now and seeing through the bullshit. And if you're somebody who can see through the bullshit, then start speaking up, start sharing other, like all of us truth seekers, we don't have egos about this stuff. We will share each other's content, okay? Like there's a lot of gatekeepers who won't share other people's content because they just want to be the gatekeeper of the information. They just want people looking at theirs. But like, sometimes you need a break. Like I needed a break. Okay. When I took a break, I was still sharing other people's content because I didn't have the energy to produce that content myself. But you know, you got to work together with other people as a community. So share our video, like this video or any other videos that you like, that you want to, you know, if you need somebody who needs information, who's just going through an awakening and needs all the puzzle pieces put together, send them our stuff, smash the like button so that it reaches more people. You can also join our Patreon because if we're financially supported to do these transmissions, we can do more of them. Obviously I do sessions as well, but talking about the geopolitical stuff doesn't convert super well into sessions. So if you can support our Patreon, then we can bring more of this type of content to you. And yeah, just get in where you fit in, like find out what your skills and your talents are and how you can get involved to bring truth to people. Align with your mission, submit to God, learn about God, develop a relationship with God. Maybe you'll find your soulmate too, like we did, because that's how we did. That's how we recognized each other, because we were both doing it. So yeah, it's fun. It's a fun journey. Like, yeah, it can be dark as well, but it's what we're here for. We're here to awaken to the truth. So that's my message. I know you have a similar message, so yeah. Is there anything else you want to say, baby?
Yeah, and remember, they control the media and stuff and all the social media platforms, and they're trying to make you feel insignificant and that you're powerless, and it's all doom and gloom 24/7. But you know, you just have to start thinking outside the box, seeing how they control the system, and realizing there's more of us than them, and they're scared of us. And we can do something. You're not powerless. And despite everything that they're doing to us, jabbing us and all this stuff, we can literally heal anything they do to us.
Yeah.
The God made the body so intelligently and so powerful. They don't want you to know that. They're so scared of you knowing that, because wow, if you learn that you didn't need any pharmaceuticals anymore, wow, you learn that you don't need their food dependency anymore. You can grow your own stuff. You don't even really need to eat as much as they're telling you need to eat. Like, it's all a lie. And you can literally like regrow bones. You can regrow organs that were surgically removed from you when you were a child even. Like, that's the human potential we have. Like, if you just put the right fuel in your body, you're not going to get far if you're putting diesel in a gas engine and vice versa. So you got to put the right fuel in the body, and then you just thrive.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for coming on, baby.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I love you so much.
We can just talk forever.
Huh?
I feel like we can just talk forever.
We can. I mean, we're gonna talk so much more, and we got loads more episodes planned for you guys. So if you're still with us, then thank you for your attention. We really appreciate it. And yeah, if you want us to cover any specific topics, then feel free to suggest them in the comments section as well. What?
Just a selfless plug on the music. If you want to check me out on all streaming music platforms and stores, Bass Diver is my alias, BASSDIVER. And I have some really cool songs out there that expose a lot of the stuff and educate people about things. And one of them is "Don't Trust the Science."
Yeah, I'm gonna start putting more previews of Dom's music because he has been working his ass off the last few months, producing so much amazing music. that's got amazing codes in it. Some of it's like truth, some of it's, you know, higher vibration, some of it's about like love and intimacy and divine union. So there's a really diverse range of stuff that he's put out. So we'll put a preview at the end of the video if you want to stay till the end, then you can check that out. And I'll put all the links in the description box below. And if you want to book a session with me as well, sessions, all your sessions. But yeah, thanks, baby. And yeah, we'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Yeah. Millions have already been murdered by our own government since 2020. So listen up.
It only takes one shot to get your blood to clot, cause your heart to stop and make your body drop. We'll sterilize you in this depopulation psyop. Whoa, don't trust the science when it's really pseudoscience. There's no proof of viral existence, so stop with the ignorance, stand in defiance. Let's put an end to these genocidal tyrants.
MAGA is the highest rank in the synagogue of Satan. The president is just another Zionist, Jesuit, Freemason, adrenochrome, blood-sucking pedophile.
Don't believe me? I'll send you proof in a PDF file.
Did you forget about Operation Warp Speed? Or all the kids Trump raped with his buddy Epstein? Trump is the self-proclaimed father of the COVID-19 vaccine.